That news broadcast was from the year 1945. It was a moment in history that changed Japan forever. From a country with one of the most powerful militaries, Japan became a pacifist nation. It surrendered to the Allied powers. More than 70 years have passed, and Japan is once again at a turning point. It faces military threats from all directions. China's recent moves around Taiwan have put the region on the edge. Beijing is swiftly militarizing the Indo-Pacific, and Japan no longer can afford to ignore the growing threats. It's about to make a big move. Japan wants to arm itself in a way that will eventually mean abandoning pacificism. Japan is ready to rise as a military power. It is set to become one of the biggest military spenders in the world. And this is a country that says it does not have an army, just a self-defense force. We have some numbers for you. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has come up with a defense budget. This is for the year 2023. Next year, Japan will spend $39.5 billion on defense, and this is already a record high, but Tokyo is not done. In the next 5 years, it wants to double its defense budget from almost $40 billion to $79 billion. What would this mean? The move will fundamentally change how the world views Japan. From a pacifist country to a military power. Let me explain how. Japan ranks 9th today in military spending. Where will it be when it starts spending almost $80 billion? Japan could move to the 3rd spot, just behind the US and China. As of today, the US spends $801 billion. This was their budget in 2021. $801 billion in defense. China spent $293 billion. India ranked 3rd with a budget of $76.6 billion. So Japan's projected budget in 2028 will surpass India's military spending of today. Of course, these numbers may not hold because military budgets of all of these countries have been expanding every year. So Japan's projected ranking could change, but it's safe to say it will be among the top countries. It plans to acquire more weapons, new military hardware purchases that can deter the enemy. Reports say Japan's defense minister has made a procurement list. This is what they're looking to buy. Improved missiles and radar systems. This includes systems for hypersonic missiles. These are weapons that can travel faster than the speed of sound. There is also a plan to expand the missile arsenal. Japan wants about 1,000 missiles which can be fired from ships and planes. Next weapon on the list is unmanned aerial combat drones. Every major military force has these now. They can take down targets without risking human lives. Tokyo also wants to get next-generation fighter jets. It is co-developing a jet with London, so future budgets will account for this project too. And by the time all the purchases are done, Japan could have some serious firepower at its disposal. The weapons will obviously go to Japan's self-defense forces. It has over 200,000 personnel. They call themselves the self-defense forces, not the army. Why do they need to feel the need rather to arm themselves better? It's because of recent events, specifically 3 events. They led to serious concern and forced a shift in Tokyo. Event number 1, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Number 2, China's latest provocations against Taiwan. And 3, North Korea's growing nuclear missile tests. Russia, China, North Korea. Do you know what's common in these countries? All of them have territorial disputes with Japan. With Russia, Tokyo is fighting over the Kuril Islands. It's been going on for 77 years now. In Japan, it is better known as the Northern Territories Dispute. The Kuril is a chain of 4 islands. Both Japan and Russia stake claim to them. Then we have China. Japan and China have an outstanding dispute in the East China Sea. This is about the Senkaku Islands. Right now, Japan controls them, but China stakes claim and calls them the Diaoyu Islands. With North Korea, Japan is fighting over the Liangcourt Rocks. These are small islands. They lie between Japan and the 2 Koreas. So Tokyo has a territorial dispute with almost every neighbor. There is no peaceful resolution in sight. There's an atmosphere of fear. People in Japan back bigger military budgets. In the month of May this year, the results of a survey came out. Japanese people were asked if the country should bolster its defense. More than 60% of them backed the idea. So the government has given the green signal to spend on arms. But what happens to Japan's pacifist credentials? Will Tokyo finally dump the no-war clause in its constitution? Well, that too could happen. Fumio Kishida has a super majority in Japan's parliament. The Prime Minister has vowed to follow in the footsteps of the late Shinzo Abe, the leader who first pitched the idea of changing Japan's constitution. So the amendment is only a matter of time, perhaps even a necessity now, thanks to all the aggression and expansionism that China is displaying in the neighborhood. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.